Now, Sapphire have actually sent me quite the difficult card to review. This is the R7 250. Now, what makes it difficult to review is that it is an entry-level graphics card, so I'd run away as far as I possibly can from this card. I'm just a power-hungry FPS, constant frames per second kind of guy, and this thing scares me. It really does. I mean, I just don't know what I'm going to get out of it. And I was trying to think of who this card's aimed at, and all I can think of is it's that kid that really wants to upgrade the family machine because it's really, really bad, and he just wants a bit more FPS results in his Counter-Strike games so he can actually shoot things better, and that's where this card really falls into place. I mean, if you're aiming for high single-player action, high details, this is not the card you're after. I mean, you're going to look at a 260 upwards, really. But, you know, for online competitive games where the details don't matter, you've played the game 4,000 times, it's all a blur anyway, right? I mean, it all just looks good even if you're running low details. So that's where this card is aimed at. I think this is a great place to put it, especially for those kids or people that just want that cheap upgrade, or maybe they just want to get 2 monitors out of it, you know. This card actually does that very well because, one, it's small, it fits into one slot, PCI Express slot. Also, it's fairly quiet as well when it spins, but the power requirements as well is incredibly low. It's like solar powered. It just requires nothing. It's absolutely great for that. But let's talk about some of the FPS results that this card can give you. So all the games that I'm going to be running at 1920, 1080p, and right now we've got some Dota 2 in low settings for you now, and FPS wise, it was flawless. I mean, the lowest it got was 118, maximum 122, and the average was basically 120, 119 FPS. It was just 120, 119, bang on square all the time, which is really, really nice. Exactly what you want in Dota 2. And I happily play in low settings all the time in Dota 2 anyway. I just want constant frame rates. Now, in high details, Dota 2 did suffer a little bit. I mean, it did sort of power on through, but it was struggling. I think sort of a medium setting to a low settings is preferable on this game. It's slightly more intensive than what's coming up next, which is League of Legends. But overall, not a bad performance, but I definitely wouldn't run it in high settings. So next up is some League of Legends actions in high details. If you look into the top right corner of this game, you can see an FPS counter. That's while I was recording with Fraps, which is very demanding on a game, so it will drop the FPS count, but I did a benchmark separately and getting 111 frames maximum, 79 minimum, and then 69 on average. So I was just shy of 100 FPS basically while playing this, and it was very, very smooth, very, very reliable. Didn't notice any drops in big fights whatsoever, and it seems like the 250 was actually made for this game specifically, even though League of Legends could possibly run on my phone. But in low details, it was just ridiculously high FPS all round. 230 frames maximum, 150 frames minimum, and 192 average, which is just what you need, really. You know, if, like I was saying, if you're in that sweet spot and this is your game that you play all the time, this card could be very viable for you, especially if you don't have that system that you can upgrade very easily. It's just a nice result, really. But this is what you've got to be careful with this card. You've got to find the right games for the card, because next up is some Deus Ex Action. So I was hoping for a bit more performance coming out of this card on Deus Ex. It kind of did struggle with this game. Yet again, that's what I was been saying previously, is that you've got to find the right games for this card. I played some Counter-Strike as well on this, Counter-Strike Go, and it actually ran surprisingly well. But then again, that source engine's been out a lot longer and it's maybe a lot less intensive. But I think this card fits into a good competitive slot for people that really want to play the competitive online shooters a lot, or MOBAs in particular. I think this card fills in those roles really well, and you know, it's incredibly cheap, it's small, and it practically fits in anything, so that's a huge bonus as well. So let's talk about FPS now, and we were getting roughly 47 frames average on Deus Ex in the lowest settings, running at 1080p, and when I upped it to high with Fraps running, the footage just came out stuttery and horrible looking. It wasn't very pleasant to watch back, so I didn't put that in there. But I was scoring roughly about 22 to 15 frames. It was jumping up and down from there. Wasn't great at all. But the card is actually quite variable. I mean, it can run games very, very well on those low settings and very smooth, but it's really selective on those games, and I've said that so many times already. But if you can find the right game to play, or the game that you really love to play, like people that go back to the same games all the time, I think this is more aimed at them than anybody else. So I think this is a good cheap pickup if you're really desperate for an upgrade. Now, so long as you're willing to actually nuke down all your graphics to the lowest settings possible, you can actually have quite an enjoyable and smooth experience playing at 1080p on selective games. Now that's the important bit, on selective games like League of Legends, Dota 2, these online competitive games where the graphics now aren't really that important, and so you can nuke them down and just have a smooth gaming experience with an accurate response time. And that's kind of what you want in a competitive online game, just being able to play it at the best frame rate possible. But when it comes to a single player game, it's all about the details. It's all about seeing those beautiful things and immersing yourself in a world where you can enjoy and have fun. And this graphics card in that instance will not fit the bill. You might as well save up your pennies for a couple more weeks and buy the 260X or the 270X. I think they're a great intermediate card. I think that's actually probably the best place to start because they'll last longer, those cards as well, I find. But this card is like the last option. Like if you can't upgrade to the bigger cards, this is probably your saving grace because it's small enough, it doesn't have these extra power requirements, you won't have to upgrade your whole rig, etc. So that's where this card fits in perfectly, I find. And also, you could use it for other things as well, such as like a media machine if you had a spare PC around, rather than buying a massive expensive graphics card for that. I think that's a reasonable place to put this card as well. But anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this review. I hope it's helped you out a little bit more. Please like, comment, subscribe, dislike as well. Tell me what you didn't like about this review, what you want me to review better later on as well. So anyways, I hope this helped. See you later.